Hello, my sleepy time friends. Esther here. Tonight we're exploring a world inspired by a beloved classic, Pride and Prejudice, but with the soft, warm glow of a modern K-drama romance. It's a tale of quiet moments, unexpected connections, and the gentle unfolding of hearts. So, close your eyes, breathe softly, and let's begin our journey into dreams. Imagine the soft, rolling hills, not of the English countryside, but of a peaceful corner of South Korea. Think of the gentle rustling of leaves, the scent of blooming flowers, and the quiet beauty of ancient places. Our heroine is a young woman with a kind heart and a creative spirit, and our hero, well, he might seem a little distant at first, but perhaps there's more beneath the surface. The air in the small rural town of Byeolcheon held a gentle hum of activity. It was the time of the annual village festival, a comforting rhythm that marked the passing of the seasons. The scent of delicious food mingled with the sweet perfume of late-blooming flowers, creating a peaceful atmosphere. Hannah, her movements calm and deliberate, helped her mother arrange their stall. It was filled with her beautiful, handcrafted items and her mother's delicious, comforting treats. Each piece was made with care, reflecting the quiet dedication Hannah put into her work. Hannah felt a deep sense of belonging in Byeolcheon. She loved the familiar faces, the shared history, and the simple, comforting pace of life here. Yet, a quiet longing resided within her, a gentle pull towards expressing her creativity on a larger scale. She dreamed of a small, peaceful design studio where her unique visions could take shape. "Hannah," her mother murmured softly, her hand gently touching Hannah's arm. "Just a little more focus, dear. The Kim family will be arriving soon, and it's important to show our best." Her mother's voice was always a soothing presence. The Kim family. The name itself carried a weight, like a heavy silk fabric. They were the most prominent family in the region, their sprawling tea plantation a quiet giant in the landscape. Their influence was like a gentle, steady current in the village's life. Hannah understood her mother's quiet hope, the unspoken wish for a secure future. Just then, a sleek, dark car glided almost silently to the edge of the festival grounds. A soft ripple of quiet anticipation moved through the crowd. Jaehoon Kim, the heir, emerged. He was tall, his clothes perfectly tailored, and he carried an air of quiet reserve, almost like a still pond. He surveyed the scene with a calm, observant gaze. Hannah felt a familiar, gentle sigh escape her lips. "Here comes Mr. Serene," she whispered softly to her best friend, Soo-jin. It was a playful, quiet rebellion against the pressure she felt. Soo-jin giggled softly, a light, airy sound. "Be kind, Hannah. He does have a certain quiet handsomeness, doesn't he?" "Quietly arrogant, perhaps," Hannah replied, her voice low and gentle. "I think I'd find a scarecrow's company more relaxing." She didn't truly mean it, but the words offered a small release. She couldn't know how those quiet words, spoken in jest, might linger in the air, carried by the gentle breeze. Jaehoon, accompanied by a small, quiet entourage, began to move through the festival. He stopped at various stalls, offering polite, measured greetings. When he reached Hannah's stall, his gaze, calm and steady, met hers for just a brief, soft moment. Hannah felt a tiny, unexpected flutter, like a butterfly's wing, deep in her chest. She quickly smoothed it away, telling herself it was just the surprise of his direct gaze. He was simply another person accustomed to quiet deference. She would remain calm and composed. "Your crafts are interesting," Jaehoon said, his voice low and even. "Thank you," Hannah replied, her voice equally calm, perhaps a touch cooler than usual. "They are made with care and a quiet passion, unlike some things one might encounter." Jihoon's eyebrow lifted almost imperceptibly, a quiet flicker of interest in his calm expression. Most people here offered only soft agreement, but her quiet challenge was unexpected. "Is that so?" he said, a hint of quiet amusement entering his tone. "Perhaps you could share your insights." "Perhaps not at this moment," Hannah responded gently, turning her attention back to arranging a small, delicate ceramic piece. Jihoon watched her for another quiet moment, his expression unreadable, then turned and moved on. Hannah watched his retreating back, a soft mix of annoyance and a quiet, lingering curiosity settling within her. She had a feeling this wasn't the last time their paths would quietly cross. The next day arrived with a soft, gentle rain. With the rain came an unexpected delivery, an ornate invitation. The Kim family was hosting a tea ceremony at their estate, and Hannah was invited. "What?" Hannah whispered, staring at the beautiful, thick paper in disbelief. "Why would they invite me?" Her voice was soft with surprise. "Perhaps they were impressed by your beautiful crafts," her mother suggested gently, her eyes holding a quiet sparkle. "Or perhaps they were impressed by you, dear." Hannah gave a soft, disbelieving sound. "Oh, Iyama, don't be silly. He probably just wants to see if he can ruffle my feathers." Despite her quiet reservations, Hannah knew refusing was not an option. It would be a quiet but significant slight to the Kim family, and her family's peaceful life in the village depended on maintaining good relations. So, with a quiet sigh, Hannah chose her most elegant hanbok, its soft fabric rustling gently as she moved. She made her way to the Kim estate. The estate was vast and quiet, a place of serene beauty and imposing presence. Manicured gardens stretched out like calm green carpets, and the traditional Korean house seemed to breathe with history. As she entered the main hall, a quiet hush seemed to fall. She was greeted by a sea of unfamiliar faces, all speaking in hushed tones. Wealthy individuals, their movements calm and measured, and other members of the Kim family. Hannah felt a quiet sense of being out of place, like a single wildflower in a perfectly arranged bouquet. Jihoon approached her, a polite, calm smile on his face. "Welcome, Miss Hannah. I'm glad you could join us." His voice was low and smooth. "Thank you for inviting me," Hannah replied, her voice soft but a little stiff. "I hope you find the tea ceremony peaceful," Jihoon said. "It's a tradition that has flowed gently through generations of my family." The tea ceremony was a long, quiet, and intricate affair. Hannah focused on the gentle movements, the soft sounds of the water pouring, the delicate handling of the cups. She tried her best to follow the rituals, but a quiet awkwardness lingered. She noticed Jihoon's calm gaze resting on her occasionally, a hint of quiet amusement in his eyes. After the ceremony concluded, Jihoon quietly led Hannah to a secluded garden. The air here was still and peaceful, the only sounds the gentle drip of water from leaves and the distant soft call of a bird. "I wanted to speak with you privately," he said, his voice low. Hannah felt a quiet tension gather in her shoulders. She braced herself, expecting a polite but perhaps critical conversation. "I have heard some quiet whispers about you," Jihoon said, his expression becoming serious, losing its hint of amusement. "Whispers?" Hannah asked softly, her heart sinking a little like a stone in still water. "Yes," Jihoon said. "Whispers suggesting you have been sharing unkind words about my family." Hannah gasped softly, the sound barely audible. "That's not true. I would never do such a thing." Her voice trembled slightly with genuine distress. "Are you certain?" Jihoon asked, his eyes narrowing just a fraction. "Because I have heard this from sources I trust." Hana was stunned into quiet silence. Someone was deliberately trying to create discord, to tarnish her reputation. But who could it be? And why would they do such a thing? "I swear I am innocent," Hana pleaded softly, her voice filled with earnestness. "Please, you must believe me." Jihoon looked at her, his expression calm but unreadable. The quiet garden seemed to hold its breath. "I want to believe you, Miss Hana, but I need something more, something to quiet these whispers." Hana left the Kim estate with a heavy heart, the quiet accusation echoing in her mind. She was determined to clear her name, to gently push back against the unfairness. Her reputation was precious, and her quiet dream of a design studio felt suddenly fragile. With the unwavering support of Sujin, whose presence was a quiet comfort, she began to investigate. They moved through the village with gentle persistence, asking quiet questions, listening carefully to the subtle shifts in conversation. They looked for small clues, trying to piece together the source of the unkind whispers. It became quietly clear that someone was deliberately planting false information about Hana. The realization settled like a cold mist, but the question remained. Who, and for what quiet purpose? As they gently pulled at the threads of the mystery, they uncovered a quiet tangle of secrets and hidden motives. They discovered that a rival family, operating with quiet cunning, was attempting to destabilize the Kim family's influence. Hana, unknowingly, had become a quiet pawn in their larger game. Hana felt a quiet wave of shock and anger. She had been used, her quiet life disrupted by unseen forces. She knew she had to speak to Jihoon again, to gently lay bare the truth she had uncovered. It felt like stepping onto thin ice, a quiet risk, but she had nothing left to quietly protect but her integrity. She found him in his office, a quiet space filled with the soft rustle of papers. He looked tired, the usual calm in his eyes clouded with quiet stress. "Jihoon-si," Hana said softly, her voice steady despite the quiet tremor in her hands. "I need to speak with you about something important." Jihoon looked up, his expression wary, the quiet tension in the room palpable. "What is it, Miss Hana?" Hana, in a calm, measured voice, told him everything. She presented the quiet evidence she had gathered, explaining how she had been unknowingly caught in the middle of a quiet rivalry. She spoke of the rival family's subtle tactics and how the whispers about her were a deliberate fabrication. Jihoon listened intently, his initial wariness slowly replaced by a quiet, growing understanding. His expression became more and more serious as the pieces fell into place. When she finished, a long, quiet silence filled the room, broken only by the soft ticking of a clock. I don't know what to say," he said finally, his voice low and filled with quiet regret. "I had no idea the situation was so complex." "I know," Hana said softly. "You were simply trying to protect your family to quiet the potential disruption. But I accused you of something you did not do," Jihoon said, his voice heavy with remorse. "I was wrong, and I am truly sorry." "It's all right," Hana said gently. "What matters is that the truth has been quietly revealed now." Jihoon looked at her, his eyes, usually so calm, now filled with a quiet gratitude. "Thank you, Hana, for your quiet strength and for uncovering this." With the quiet truth now known, a gentle shift occurred between Hana and Jihoon. The initial tension softened, replaced by a quiet understanding and a shared purpose. They formed an unlikely alliance, working together to gently expose the rival family's schemes and fully clear Hannah's name. It was not an easy path. The rival family was powerful, their influence like a deep, quiet current, and they were not afraid to use subtle, even ruthless means to achieve their goals. But Hannah and Jehoon were quietly determined. They combined their strengths, Hannah's quiet intuition and connection to the community, Jehoon's calm, strategic mind and resources. They worked with a quiet synergy, carefully planning their steps to outsmart their opponents and gently bring their lies into the light. As they spent more time together, working side by side in quiet concentration, they began to see each other in a new, softer light. Hannah realized that Jehoon was far more than the reserved chaebol heir she had first perceived. He possessed a quiet intelligence, a deep sense of responsibility, and a gentle concern for the well-being of those around him. Jehoon, in turn, was quietly impressed by Hannah's resilience, her unwavering sense of fairness, and the quiet passion she held for her craft. He admired her dedication to her family and friends, the gentle strength that radiated from her. They began to seek out each other's company beyond their investigation. They shared quiet conversations, finding comfort in each other's presence. They discovered shared interests, quiet moments of laughter, and a surprising ease in simply being together. They talked about their dreams, their quiet fears, and the gentle hopes they held for the future. And slowly, like a quiet dawn breaking, they began to fall in love. It wasn't a sudden, dramatic event, but a gentle, gradual unfolding of hearts, a quiet recognition of a deep connection. One afternoon, the world outside was hushed by the gentle patter of rain. Hannah and Jehoon were in his office, the quiet space filled with the soft glow of lamps. They had been working late, the culmination of their efforts finally within reach. They had gathered enough quiet evidence to expose the rival family and definitively clear Hannah's name. "We did it," Hannah said softly, a quiet smile gracing her lips. "We actually managed it." The relief in her voice was palpable, a soft release of tension. "Yes, we did," Jehoon replied, his voice low and filled with quiet admiration. His gaze rested gently on her. "I truly couldn't have done it without your quiet strength and insight." Hannah felt a soft blush warm her cheeks. "And I couldn't have navigated it without your calm guidance, Jehoonsi." A long, quiet moment settled between them. The only sound was the gentle rhythm of the rain against the window panes, a soothing backdrop to the unspoken feelings in the air. Jehoon reached out, his movements slow and gentle, and took Hannah's hand. His touch was warm and steady. "Hannah," he said, his voice barely a whisper, filled with a quiet vulnerability. "There is something I need to tell you, something that has grown quietly in my heart." Hannah's heart gave a soft flutter, a familiar sensation now filled with warmth rather than surprise. She felt a quiet certainty about what he was about to say. I have quietly fallen in love with you," Jehoon confessed, his eyes, usually so reserved, now open and filled with sincere emotion. Hannah's own eyes welled up with soft tears, tears of happiness and quiet relief. I have quietly fallen in love with you too, Jehoonsi," she whispered back. Jehoon gently leaned closer, his movements slow and tender. He kissed her softly, a gentle meeting of lips that felt like coming home. It was a kiss filled with quiet love, deep longing, and the gentle promise of a shared future. The rain continued its soft lullaby outside. Their newfound love, though deep and true, was not without its quiet challenges. Jehoon's family, particularly his mother, held traditional views, and were not quietly pleased about his relationship with Hannah. They believed that the heir to the Kim Empire should marry someone from a family of similar wealth and influence, someone whose connections could quietly benefit the business. They viewed Hannah's humble background and lack of prominent social ties with quiet disapproval. In their eyes, she represented a potential quiet disruption to their family's carefully constructed world and future plans. They began to exert quiet pressure on Jihoon, gently but persistently urging him to end the relationship. They spoke of duty, of expectations, of the quiet responsibilities that came with his name. But Jihoon remained steadfast. His love for Hannah was a quiet, unshakable foundation, and he was determined to be with her, regardless of his family's quiet objections. Hannah, however, felt a quiet ache in her heart. She loved Jihoon deeply, but the thought of causing him pain or conflict with his family was a heavy burden. She saw the quiet stress his family's disapproval was causing him, the subtle lines of worry around his eyes. She quietly considered the possibility of stepping away, of sacrificing her own happiness for his peace. The thought was like a cold stone in her stomach, but she couldn't bear the idea of being the source of his quiet suffering. Yet, the thought of losing him, of the quiet emptiness that would follow, was almost unbearable. One day, the quiet tension escalated. Hannah received a visit from Jihoon's mother. Her demeanor was calm and formal, her disapproval a quiet, palpable presence in the room. "You are a pleasant young woman, Hannah-si," she said, her voice smooth and measured, devoid of warmth. "But you are not the right match for my son. He requires a partner who can quietly support his position, not someone who might complicate things." She then made a quiet, shocking offer, a substantial sum of money if Hannah would quietly end the relationship and leave. Hannah felt a wave of quiet indignation wash over her. "I do not want your money," she said, her voice trembling slightly but firm. "I love Jihoon, and I would never do anything to intentionally cause him harm." "Then do the right thing, the quiet thing, and leave him," Jihoon's mother stated, her gaze unwavering. "It is the only way to ensure his future remains peaceful and secure." With a heavy heart, a quiet resolve formed within her. She made the most difficult decision of her life. She decided to break up with Jihoon, to quietly remove herself from his life, even though it felt like tearing her own heart in two. She wrote him a letter, her hand steady despite the quiet tears that fell onto the page. She poured out her love, her reasons, her quiet hope that he would find peace and happiness. She explained that she couldn't bear to be the source of conflict for him. She left the letter in a quiet, private place she knew he would find, and then, with a quiet strength she didn't know she possessed, she quietly disappeared from Byeolkeon. Jihoon's world seemed to quieten to a dull roar when he read Hannah's letter. The words were soft on the page, but their meaning struck him with a quiet force. He couldn't comprehend that she had left him, that she had made such a quiet, profound sacrifice. He searched for her with a quiet desperation. He looked everywhere, his usual calm replaced by a restless energy. But she had vanished as quietly as she had arrived in his heart. Life without her felt muted, incomplete. He realized, with a quiet clarity that pierced through his sadness, that she was the most important person in his life. The quiet moments they shared, the gentle understanding between them, were more valuable than anything his family's world could offer. He couldn't imagine a future without her quiet presence. He began to look at his family's values, their quiet expectations, with new eyes. He saw that their focus on wealth and status had blinded them to the quiet beauty of genuine connection and happiness. A quiet determination settled within him. He decided to confront his family, not with anger, but with a quiet, unwavering truth. He told them, calmly and clearly, that he loved Hannah, that she was his happiness, and that he was going to find her and bring her back. His family was initially shocked by his quiet defiance, but they could see the depth of his love, the quiet conviction in his eyes. They realized that their attempts to control his life had only brought him quiet misery. With a quiet sigh of acceptance, his mother gave him her blessing. "Go, my son," she said softly. "Find her. Be happy." Ji-hoon searched for Hannah for many quiet months. He traveled across Korea, following every faint lead, listening to every quiet rumor. His journey was long and often solitary, filled with quiet hope and quiet moments of doubt. Finally, his search led him to a small, peaceful village nestled by the sea. The air here was soft, with the scent of salt and the gentle sound of waves. And there, in a quiet studio filled with beautiful, handcrafted pottery, he found her. He approached cautiously, his heart beating with a quiet intensity, afraid that she might turn away, that the quiet sacrifice she had made meant she no longer wanted him. "Hannah," he said softly, his voice trembling slightly with emotion. "I have been searching for you." Hannah turned, her eyes wide with quiet surprise. The pottery wheel she had been working on slowed to a gentle stop. "Ji-hoon," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "What are you doing here?" "I came to find you," he said, stepping closer, his gaze holding hers. "I cannot live without you, Hannah. My life has been too quiet, too empty since you left." Hannah's eyes filled with soft tears, tears of relief and quiet joy. I cannot live without you either, Ji-hoon," she said, her voice thick with emotion. Ji-hoon gently closed the distance between them. He took her softly into his arms, holding her close. He kissed her, a long, tender kiss that spoke of months of longing, of quiet understanding, and of deep, abiding love. The gentle sound of the waves crashing softly on the shore outside provided a peaceful soundtrack to their reunion. Ji-hoon and Hannah returned to Beolcheon together, their arrival a quiet ripple of joy through the village. They were greeted with open hearts and gentle smiles by their friends and family. Ji-hoon's family, witnessing the depth of their connection and the quiet happiness that radiated from them, had truly had a change of heart. They saw that Hannah was not a complication, but a source of quiet strength and joy for Ji-hoon. They welcomed her into their family with warmth and sincerity, offering their quiet blessing to their union. Ji-hoon and Hannah were married in a beautiful, simple ceremony in the village, surrounded by the people they loved. The atmosphere was one of quiet joy and deep contentment. They were happier than they had ever imagined possible. Hannah, with Ji-hoon's quiet support, opened her own design studio in Beolcheon. Her unique creations, infused with the quiet beauty of the village and her own gentle spirit, became renowned across Korea. Ji-hoon continued to oversee the Kim tea empire, but he made sure to carve out plenty of quiet time to spend with Hannah, nurturing their love and building their future together. They lived their lives with quiet grace and deep happiness, a testament to the fact that love, when true and gentle, can quietly overcome prejudice and expectations, blooming beautifully in the most unexpected of places. And so, my dears, our story comes to a gentle close. I hope this quiet tale has been a soothing companion, helping you to relax and feel peaceful. Remember, sometimes the most profound connections are found in the quietest moments, and the people who initially seem distant may hold the deepest warmth within. Now, as you continue to drift towards sleep, if this story brought you a sense of calm, please consider giving it a gentle thumbs up. It's a quiet way to support the channel and helps me know what kind of stories you enjoy. And if you have any thoughts or ideas for future peaceful tales, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I love hearing from you. And of course, if you are new to my sleepy time and you enjoyed this quiet journey, please consider subscribing. I share new stories and relaxation aids every week, always with the hope of helping you find peace and rest. Good night, my sweet dears. May your dreams be gentle and filled with peace. Remember, you are cherished, you are valued, and you deserve all the quiet happiness in the world. Sleep deeply now,